Okay, we're gonna get ready to start tomorrow's project. I would have started it today, but had to take the child to the vet for her second round of puppy shots and dewormer and all that fancy crap. She did really good. Get the project. To get the field cultivator, but I came up here a little bit ago and put my clevis pins finally showed up so I could replace them bolts on these coulters. And I noticed that when I parked this thing, because it was buried in snow, I didn't get it on the board, and now it's doing the Detroit lean, so I want to get it on the board before the damn thing flops over. So we'll just kind of hook it with one 3-point arm and lift it up a little bit. Looks like that'll get her. Need to get a little bit more out of it, damn it. Without hopefully dropping it. There we go. Don't try this at home, kids. Better. Okay, now we can grab the field cultivator. Needs to get the pins, and the pins are still in the chisel plow. Hopefully this thing picks that cultivator up without any weight on the nose. I've never tried that before. Climbing the hill ought to be fun. Picked it up and moving with it, two different things, but I picked it up. Oh, she's right on the crown of the tires. So just a quick, since we were talking about the whole cover crop thing the other day, everybody mentioned frost seeding into my standing wheat, and I realize everybody's trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that, but I don't think anybody realizes or fully understands what it's like farming next to the lake in Michigan. We got mud already. We had on Monday, when I think it was Monday I actually made that video. Or was it Tuesday? It was Monday or Tuesday I made that video. We still had 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, and now you can see dirt. And we got rain coming tonight. By the time March hits Michigan, you ain't doing shit. You're gonna have mud unless the snow sticks around. Which if we have 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, you ain't doing no frost seeding anyway, because by the time all that melts off and the runoff happens, all that seed's not gonna stay in place. But yeah, it works in a lot of other places. It's not gonna go over well here. And it doesn't help this year because of the lake. We didn't even have, we had a snow Christmas Day. That was the first snow we had, or actually it was the day, yeah, it was Christmas Eve night, or Christmas Eve, we had our first snow. It took us that long to get snow because the lake stayed warm, and we didn't get, and we never even had a frost. The ground has yet to freeze this. It's frozen, like where we plowed snow out of the way and we got the snow off the ground, it was able to freeze, but we've had so much snow cover, we never even had a frost. The ground's never froze. It had like a 1-inch crust on it, but yeah, you're not you're not going across any, you're not doing any field work in March or in this area. It's just not gonna happen. You're gonna get, it wouldn't turn out pretty. So that's why we don't do that. Like I say, I realized everybody was trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that. It's just, that shit don't fly around here. Now, you go about 30 miles that way and get away from the lake where they have a lot less effect from the water temperature. You can get away with it over there, but they also get a lot less snow over there because they miss all the lake effect bands. Like over by work, they had frozen ground. We never got it over here. So you get underneath the snow, it's a damn hog waller. And if we get the rain they're talking tonight, there probably won't be any snow left by morning. It's gonna be a goddamn muddy mess. It's not even March 1st yet. But anyway, let's see if we can get up the hill with this thing without rolling over. That's a little dramatic. I know it ain't gonna roll over, but oh, she is light. If that just don't get you ready for spring, nothing will. I'm ready to go. Not ready to pay for the damn fuel, but I'm ready to go. So I gotta drop it and grab the forklift because obviously it ain't gonna go through the door long ways. We gotta stuff it in sideways. So get her unhooked, go down, grab the fork truck, go from there. Mark my words, one of these days I'm gonna have a shop with a door wide enough you can just drive in with one of these things and not have to do a bunch of sketchy shit to get it through to where you can work on it. One of these days. But anyway, I got all new shovels for it. Got new tires for it because I noticed last year this guy finally went flat and it sucked the tube up inside the rim, so I couldn't air it up. But that's fine because the old, I'm assuming these are snow tires, but they're old truck tires is what they are. And they just, it needs implement tires on it, they look better. So got new rubber for it, new shovels. Gonna do a little bit of work to the buster bar because one of my U-bolts, one of these, I think it's that one. One of these U-bolts is stripped out. So what I'm gonna do is just shit can the U-bolts and get a piece of flat stock and cut or drill that bolt pattern in it and just make a pinch bar for it with regular bolts. Get rid of the U-bolts. At some point in this life, this thing, I don't know how the hell they did it because it's a field cultivator, unless they hooked that corner on something, but they busted the frame right here and patched it, and there's a crack. Notice there's a crack in it again. It's been broke there. It's been broke there. It's been broke here. So we're probably going to go in, and it's always been broke there. So probably going to try to clean up some of them repairs a little bit because they look like hell. They worked, but they look like hell. These have been broke, so probably going to try to fix these because I noticed this one's cracking again. And that'd be a bad day to lose that going down the road. So fix those. And I also noticed, well, it's been this way for a while, but that U-bolt's broke. So we're going to do the same thing I'm going to do on the buster bar. I'm going to shit can the U-bolts all together and just do like what they did here and just make a plate with that bolt pattern in it and just stuff regular bolts in it and make a pinch plate. That way we don't got to worry about having U-bolts custom made. Although 3x3 or 4, is that 3x3 or 4x4? Whatever that box tube is, it's probably a standard U-bolt, but putting a fucking plate on there with regular bolts is going to be 10 times stronger than a U-bolt anyhow. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is actually going to be the first money I busted a spring. It's alright, I got more of them somewhere because you can still buy them new. I put a new one there, there's a new one there, there's a new one there. This thing used to have extension shanks on it. There's another shovel that ran out here, and I got one of those that's got a new spring on it. So if nothing else, I can go grab that other spring, but you can still get them from Agco. So I'll have to replace that spring. I could have swore I bought extra, but maybe I didn't. Is that the only one that's broke? It looks like it. I think everything else is good. I don't see any other ones, so it must just be that one. Good deal. But, yeah, that's where we're at. So, that is going to be the project for tomorrow. I just wanted to get it in here tonight so the snow can melt off of it, and we're not working on it when it's wet. So, we will catch you guys in the morning. Okay, before I say anything about this, I want to get this out of the way while it's fresh in my head, because I just watched probably the most badass tile machine video I've ever seen in my life. You want to see something really damn cool, go up there in the search bar and type in Dellenberg Farm Drainage Barber Green TA77. That's DELENBURG Farm Drainage. Coolest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. Just, the video speaks for itself. Just go watch it. You won't regret it. It's only 3.5 minutes. They picked a good song. It's a good fucking video. So, anyway, go watch that, because it's freaking awesome. Now, back to the project at hand. New 7-inch sweeps, which are, if I can get the damn thing off of the, it wasn't tied together a minute ago when I brought it up. Apparently it got itself back wound up. Yeah, come on. Osmondson point, so they're actually good point. And they're a tad bit bigger than the ones that are on it now, which these are 7 inchers. This is what's supposed to be on it with the spacing it's got according to the book. So, this is actually the second set of shovels I've had on it. These are actually, these blunt nose bastards are off of, they were on the color mulcher when we brought it home. Why? So who would want to run Cultivator sweeps on a color mulcher? I don't know, because we took them off and we put points on, or single points on it. But the ones that were originally on it were about like that. Just not very good. But I only had enough of those to do 2 rows, so the front one's got the best of what was on it, and that wasn't that great, and that one's about gone. That one broke this year, that one's about gone. I don't know how that one's holding on. So, it's just about time she gets new twofers all the way around. And these ought to penetrate a lot better because they're not blunt nose, they're actual point. So, I think first things first, what I'm going to do is get the wheels off, so I'm not working around those. And I will probably pull the pins and get the buster bar out of the way, so I'm not working around that. And probably go ahead and start torching bolts off. I don't know if I even want to make an attempt to I don't know. By all rights, the threads aren't terrible. Those might spin off. I might try spinning them off first. We'll see. But first off, get the buster bar off, get the wheels out of the way so I'm not conking my head on that crap. And we'll do the shovels first. Get the buster bar taken care of. Get the frame taken care of, and probably worry about the tires last. So, anyway, that's where we'll start. Well, I managed to get one bolt out, and the other one didn't want to go. And I'm not going to fight that much, so can't be stuck if it's liquid. Well, there's one rank done. Just gotta be careful to not screw these things up. These are little bushings. Since these are laminated, they run two independent springs, and that bushing goes in the slot in the back one so that they can slide against each other and not break the bolts. So gotta save these guys. Everything else is junk. No wonder they didn't work for shit. These are John Deere shovels. Garbage. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Other than trying to weave my way down through on that front set of shovels, trying to not skewer myself. So I went through, got all the slag buffed off of the bushings. Now, these shanks are made for shovels that take 3/8 plow bolts. I have not been able to find anywhere a modern replacement shovel for 3/8 plow bolts. The new ones are made for 7/16 plow bolts. So Shoop has a workaround. They call it a special bolt, and I can't remember the part number right offhand, but it shows up on the same page as all the Cultivator shovels. And my Glencoe actually takes the same bolt, ironically. But it's a bolt with a 7/16 head, but it's got a 3/8 shank on it to adapt a new shovel to an older shank that takes smaller bolts. So, and then I got me a whole box of nuts. So, yeah. Now I got to go through and put them all back on. Okay, well, she's got all her shovels on, but I noticed one thing when I was putting them together. This guy. Notice how all the rest of them are laying relatively flat to the floor, and that one's not. And it's because these here springs are sprung right there. So, with that being said, I had to go over to the barn and get this guy anyway, because I need that spring for that. So it's wore about the same as that one, so I guess it doesn't really matter which one I use. It's a little tighter, so I might just use this whole shovel and replace that one completely, and then I'll just throw that spring on that guy. So yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, so time to tackle the buster bar. The pins leave a little bit to be desired. So with that being said, I'm just gonna make some new ones real quick. Got some 3/4 round, got a chunk of flat stock big enough I can cut 4 1-inch squares out of it to basically just copy these guys. So the holes in this are a little slopped out, the holes in that are a little slopped out, but it's not like it's a buster bar. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am gonna have to do some straightening on the hinges though, but tackle that when we get it apart. So first things first, pins. Okay, got the new pins in. They aren't super duper tight by any means, but they're a hell of a lot better than what it was before. And even when that thing was new, it was probably not overly tight just because it's a buster bar. They were not, there's no better way, it's just a buster bar. Is what it is. So, now that we got that done, time to make our straps to remount the bars themselves and get rid of the U-bolts. And somehow I gotta figure out how to straighten this guy because I accidentally smoked a fence with it. So, yeah. Well, both bars are tweaked to some extent. This one I'm guessing is just tweaked from use because I didn't hit this one. I know I hit that one, but it's going downhill a little bit. So hopefully I got it clamped about where the bar, or about where the bend starts. So hopefully I can get it out doing this. We shall see. Damn sight better than what it was. Oh, hey. Have to put some bolts in it, I guess, but yeah. I can live with that. Now to try to get the other one. Well, that one came back out straight. Had to admit defeat on this one. Can't hit it where I need to, or can't get on it where I need to, bending it that way. So what I'm gonna have to do, after talking to Dad about it, torch all the bolts off, get all the fingers off so I can take it down and put it in the press and actually hit it where it needs to be hit. So, and since I'm putting all new bolts in this bar, I'll torch all the bolts out of that one and put all new bolts in that bar. So it'll be all new bolts now, all be tight again. And I got a couple bent fingers, might as well straighten them while I'm at it. That one's bent, that one's bent, that one's bent. That one doesn't look too bad. Looks like they're all, yeah, looks like they're all just them three on this one. But either way, we'll get them straightened out. So that's where we're at. You want to see some crazy convoluted shit? Got two pieces of 2x2 box tube, come along, strap, clamps out the ass. I got most of it pushed out in the press, but there was still one bow right here that I couldn't get out because the press is, the throat of its own, I mean, not, I could get the whole bar in it, but like the stands in between the anvil are only about as far apart as these two clamps are, so I couldn't get a wide enough span to hit the spot and get the whole bow out of it. So brought it up here and came up with this bullshit, but I think I got it. I gotta undo everything, but just, you can't really see it on camera, it's a little hard, but I think I got it. I think. So, yeah, here's hoping, fingers crossed. Well, considering the pretzel I started with, I'm gonna call that a win. That's a lot more better. So now all I gotta do is torch all the bolts out of this guy and replace all of them, and should be good to put that on tomorrow. I've about had it for today. I think it's time to go home, take a shower. But I was looking over this thing some more. They broke this. And they broke this. Like, how the hell do you break that? Literally all that carries is the gauge wheels. How do you do that? I wish I could have watched the situation that led to this. The frame, okay, maybe. I could see it more on a chisel plow than a field cultivator, because a field cultivator don't pull all that hard. But the frame, okay, maybe. How the flying frick do you rip the gauge wheels off of a field cultivator that are inboard of the frame? It's not like they're outside where they can get hooked on something. They're inboard of the frame. How the hell do you do that? So, and I found something else. Found that too. Gonna have to whack that off and fix that cobbled up weld. All that's cracking anyhow, so I don't even know why they got that in there. It doesn't look like... Nope, it did. It cracked right there. But still, we can fix that without having that scabbed on hunk of shit. So, tomorrow shouldn't be that... I think we hopefully got the hard stuff out of the way. Tomorrow, all we got to do is make the plate to replace these U-bolts. Gouge a bunch of scrap iron off of here and fix some welds. That won't take long in the morning to finish that up. Fix these guys, which I got a plan. I think I'm gonna... Well, I'll show you. You'll see when I do it. I think I got a plan to fix these and make them stronger. And then put tars on it, so with any luck at all tomorrow, we'll get it done and get it out of here. So with that, I guess we will catch you guys tomorrow. Well, there we go. Buster bar's done. I actually, before, when I got this thing, they had the spikes pointing toward the center of the harrow. Well, or toward the center of the cultivator. Well, by the time I got everything straightened out, got everything hanging right, and everything was actually in line with each other, the fingers in the center were smacking each other. Which, this thing has always wanted to bunch in the middle to begin with, even when there wasn't any interference there because the bars were so bent up. So, didn't want that because I didn't want it plugging. So, I flip-flopped the bars, and now I got the points facing out. The one thing that could possibly be a little bit of an issue is now I got this like 12-inch gap right here in the center. And what I've seen on a lot of Buster bars, which actually, I got to thinking about it as I was doing this, the vast majority of Buster bars that I have seen on a piece of equipment, the fingers point out, and then the two in the center have a little extra dork welded on them, so that they're an X to cover that little gap in the center. But before I do that, I want to actually run it in the field and see if it actually does leave a ridge there in the center, or if it finishes okay. Because if it finishes okay, I don't want to put anything in there because I don't want it to plug in with trash. But it should be 10 times better now that I got the fingers going out instead of in. So now that that's done, next item on the agenda is to tackle this busted U-bolt and get a plate made to replace it with regular bolts. So that's next step. Hopefully we got a piece of plate. Need something about that size. That's mo better. That actually looks a lot better than U-bolts. Looks like it belongs there. I know why they use U-bolts, because they use 5/8 U-bolts as the same ones that they use to hold the shanks on, but for what it's doing, this just seems a whole lot stronger, so I'm happy with that over U-bolts. And I put it on with Stovers because we only had 5/8 nuts, but the Stovers will work better anyhow. I was just going to put regular bolts or regular nuts on there so that it matched everything else, but screw it. Had to go to the hardware store to get bolts anyway because we didn't have any 5/8 by 5s. But with that being done and the mast tight again, time to work on these guys. I already took one off and ground the weld off so we can see what we're dealing with, and it appears that despite the fact that it's a big old goober weld, they actually did a fairly decent job, because after all the grinding, I can't find any cracks. But that being said, what I want to do to strengthen it so that we don't have any issues is, I got to take this down in the press and flatten it out, because it's got a twist in it and it's all puckered. And then we'll take a piece of flat stock, punch a hole in it, and wrap it to match this radius, and come back to about here, past the that's probably about an inch past where the crack was, and weld all the way around it so that it just gives it a little extra strength. So first things first, I'll flatten it out in the press and figure out what we got for flat stock. It doesn't have to be anything super duper heavy because it's going to be under tension. So I'll see what we got for flat stock and go from there. Okay, so I had both the pull rods off, got them straightened out, kind of as I suspected. When I started pushing on them, the cracks opened back up, but that's okay because we can fix that. I made 2 plates, put holes in them. I got them tack welded on there so they can't go anywhere. And what I'm going to do is take the torch and heat them and pound them around. I wanted them on the cultivator. That way I got the radius right. And I'm going to take a torch and heat them and pound them around to match the radius. And then probably get the welder over here, tack them, take them back off, weld everything solid, get the cracks fixed, and should be good to go on that respect. What up? Since you're here, come over here and do me a favor. Grab that hammer there. Pull that around and match it. Yep. Get back as close to the mast as I can. That work.
Knock the other one out, or?
bad. I don't think that's going nowhere. Okay, so these are all back in. Dad, I don't know why it didn't click with me. Dad was sitting here and he noticed that it didn't have a spacer in there. So when you draw the bolt up, all it would do was pinch these things closed. You couldn't draw the bolt up tight. So cut a piece of tubing, made a spacer for that. So now you can actually draw the bolt up tight, which will probably help with some of the stress on these things too. And then I got this piece of angle cut off that they had scabbed on here where the frame was cracked, which, as far as a repair, this thing wasn't doing a shitting bit of good because it wasn't actually strengthening the weld. It was bridging it, but it wasn't really strengthening anything. So what I'm going to do, now that I got it all cleaned out of there, is I'm going to take a grinder to the weld that they got in there and clean it up, and probably leave that because they probably sticked it, and without actually cutting that weld out of there and getting to clean box tube, it's generally very hard to wire weld over top of stick weld. I don't know what it is about the composition of the two rods, or the rod and the wire, but generally they don't like laying on top of each other. So what I'll probably do, clean this up so it's flat, and then we'll cut some diamonds. Just take some flat stock. Hopefully I can find some like 2x2 or some 2-inch flat stock or something, and cut some diamonds to weld front and back and actually strengthen that weld joint rather than just bridging it and not really doing a shitting thing. So, and I'll probably, while I'm here, gouge all this shit out and lay a nice clean bead of weld in there. It's pretty amazing. It looks like that weld's got paint on it. Somehow it looks like they managed to break this one and not this one, and I don't know unless this one just cracked, but either way, we'll clean it up, make it look better. So we're all cleaned up. I went and welded that back in, and that looks a lot better than that big old goober they had in there. This part back here where the crack still was, I gouged that out and welded it up and ground the weld back off flat. And then I got these, they ended up being trapezoids, but these are going to go here like so, and that way we are actually supporting that weld. So yeah, gotta get those buzzed in there, and this part will be done. That looks a little better than that gaudy piece of flame cut angle iron they had in there that really wasn't doing shit. That weld right there ended up kind of messed up because I was all like crunched up inside this hole trying, and I couldn't move my arms, and it didn't work out all that great. But the other ones look all right, so I don't think it's going nowhere. But the thing I found, I had my ground clamp hooked right here, and I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but the magnetism from the grounding pulled some grinder filings. That's cracked again right there. So I have to cut all that. Well, I was kind of planning on it anyway, but we're gonna have to cut all this apart and fix it right. All right, so same thing I did here. I came back in, ground out that big goober of weld they had there, and took a ball burr on a die grinder and gouged that crack out, welded it shut, and then ground it off flat. And then I got a piece of, this is 2x2. I found a piece 1.5 by 1.5 that'll lay in there real nice. Had to grind the corner off the back of it so it'll lay in there nice, but use that to bridge that gap and reinforce that crack. Unfortunately, this weld didn't turn out all that great. The collar, that guy right there that holds the ferrule on the end of the gun had backed off up to right there and was covering up the gas ports, and I didn't realize it and made the weld look a little shitty, so I'd clean it up the best I could. But if I ground it out of there and it would make a mess if I tried to fix it any better. So I got it looking half-assed decent. It's damn sight better than what it was. So anyway, weld that bugger in, and I think that's going to be it for today, because I've about had it. That ain't welding for shit neither. There, that looks better. Well, this is awkward. That didn't turn out too bad. Welds could look a little prettier, but I don't know why that was welding kind of dirty. No clue. I cleaned it up pretty good. The front welded fine, so I don't know. But anyway, I think that's about it for today. I was hoping to have this done and out of here, but people kept wanting to come over and talk, so still got that cluster to fix, and probably try to do something here and down there to get rid of that scabbed in crap that they got. And yeah. Well, I forgot about that one too. Shit. I have to do the same thing here I just did down there. So we still got a little bit of work left to go on her. And I still got to get the tires, so this might turn into another, or turn into a second part. Lord knows how long this first part's got, and it's 2 days worth of shit. So, I guess, that being said, I'm going to get all the shit put away and try to clean the floor up some. I think I'm done with the Bridgeport, so I can get all them chips cleaned up. Get the floor swept and get ready to have at it tomorrow morning before work, since I'm switching to second shift. So I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.